Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I appreciate you all being here. I am doing a collaboration with Tracie Fox Creative. That's Tracie Fox Creative on Etsy. She also has a Facebook group. She is doing a collaboration. It is Creep on June. That's hashtag Creep on June 25. And I am day number 8, and I cannot believe how quickly day number 8 has come. I did do a tutorial. This is what we'll be making. I did lose audio on 2 videos, which I'm really bummed about. But I will do you'll see that there will be a voiceover. If you want to skip ahead on that, please feel free to do so. I just wanted to show a couple of products that I used in the video that I lost audio and explain just a really quick product. So this is liver of sulfur, and this is blue patina. I will mention this in the voiceover as well. This was copper foil, and basically what I did is we framed the frames with copper foil. Sorry for the glare. Copper foil. Then I went ahead and used liver of sulfur. You just add a tiny dab of that, like a tiny titch, and then you add water to this liver of sulfur. You grab a paintbrush, and then you'll see me paint it on. Then you'll let that dry. You can force dry with a heat gun with liver of sulfur, but you cannot with blue patina. So once that is dry, you're going to grab your blue patina, put a little bit on your silicone mat, and then you're going to dip into here and then add that on there and then set that aside. You will need to let that air dry on its own, which will take a couple hours. Add some water, rinse your brushes, put everything away, and then you can move on to the next step. So we're going to, like I said, you can go ahead and get to the tutorial, which that's probably what you guys are more interested in. But I wanted to show this really quick as it's done because I did lose the audio of it finished as well. The video's there, but the audio of me looking at it and as it was all finished is no longer. And here's the back. This is what we'll be completing. Just the layers, and I found this in a book, and I thought it just went perfect on accident. And then it just kind of opens up like this. So I hope you guys are excited to make this as I was creating it. It says, from the thunder and the storm and the cloud that took the form, when the rest of the heaven was blue of a demon in my view. So he is the demon. He is the demon. And then when you open it, it shows the storm. Here's the clear skies. And then here's the storm getting more of a storm, and then it turns into lightning. So you can have it like this, or you can have it like this, or like this. Sorry guys, like that, or like that. So I thought that was really cool. It just shows the storm getting stronger. Sometimes in life there's clear skies, and sometimes it's cloudy, and sometimes it's a full-blown storm, right? Life is kind of like that. But I will show you how we put this together. And if you have any questions, please feel free to comment below so I can get those answers if there was any confusion. Like I said, you will have a voiceover. Okay, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave me a comment below, and I will try to answer that. If there was any confusion, I will try to do my best with the voiceover. This is just my finished project right now, and I hope everybody's enjoying Creep on June 2025. But this is my my base project for day 8. So I've got some things prepped here. Look at that, you guys. But this is some of the kit. This is some of the things that I've printed out that I'll be using, hopefully, with this project or the other one that I'm working on. Maybe I'll give you a little tiny sneak peek. Oh no, I don't want to give it away though. Maybe I'll just give you the top of it. Woo! Anyways, that'll be coming soon. But for now, we're going to work on my day 8. So everybody had a base to work with, and this is kind of where I'm headed with this. I did a little bit ahead because I work off the cuff, you guys. Everything is always evolving or changing. I drew out my plan. I don't even know where that's at anymore. of what I came up with in my head, and we are going to go from there. So this is what my base looked like. So it was this little kind of folded tag and then another tag. I had to print this out 3 times because I am doing a layer, like a trifold. I've seen some great stuff out there. Oh my goodness, you guys. Mine is kind of turning into a trifold as well. But that's okay because the way that I read this is kind of how it had to evolve. It says, from the thunder and the storm and the cloud that took the form, when the rest of heaven was blue, of a demon in my view. And I really love Edgar Allan Poe. It's so amazing. This kit is like probably one of my favorites for Creep on June. So I really read that story. I went through it in my head. I drew out my plan that I wanted to do or go off of, and this is kind of where I landed. So this is the demon in the view. So I kind of made him really grungy in there, and then I added foil tape, and then I patinaed it. We have gone over those in recent videos, but I saved one to go over with you. So he is the demon, and he is going to rest here on the front cover. And I'll probably have a tie. I'm not sure where we're going with that yet. And this here, maybe some creepy cloth or something underneath this as well. Wire, because you guys know I love wire. And that will be the closure for the front. So this is also, so what I used was plexiglass. So that's plexiglass, excuse me. It was so funny. I was just rummaging through some stuff and I found, sorry, my hands are gross. I am working. Um, it said outside the skyline has changed. And I was like, oh my God, that is so cool. I'm just going to put that in there for the beginning. Sorry for the glare, you guys. It's my plexiglass. I've never painted on plexiglass. I've always thought it was really something that would be fun. But you have to think backwards. I don't know if that makes any sense. So I kind of, here's my little trial run. So if you see here, I painted the clouds first and then the sky, and you have to layer the opposite direction. And then I try to just paint it how I usually do my skies, but I didn't like the look as much as I liked it, what I was going to be going for to begin with. So that is how I did that. So here is, so the way I interpret it, sorry guys, I'm going to get this, and plexiglass does scratch really easy, so you have to be careful and use soft material with it. And then here's the back. So I painted backwards. So I started with the clouds, and believe me, it took some time really trying to figure out like how I was going to do it, how I had to make sure each layer was going to turn out right when I flipped it around. So we did the clouds, and then I started with the beach kind of here. This is the how I interpreted the little poem here, is that there was blue skies, and then the thunder evolved and then into a huge lightning storm, kind of like life, right? It's sometimes it's clear, sometimes it's moody, sometimes it can be a big storm in life. So that's kind of what my perspective was. So this is the first part of the poem. Sorry guys, I thought that turned out really cool. And then again, I just foiled it with copper foil tape, and then we're going to patina that. And then here's the storm brewing. So the ocean's getting a little bit crazier. The clouds are getting more gray. The ocean's starting to go a little bit wild. And then here we are in the full storm. And this one I saved to put the foil around so I can show you how I do it. I don't have a special way. I really could use a foil. There's this little machine that you can buy. You put your foil through and it helps you put the tape around easier. But anyways, this is the wild storm that's going on, the lightning bolt. The ocean is just going crazy. The storm clouds are really gray. Just a really stormy, stormy night. So I printed this out 3 times because I wanted the back and a front. And I'm going to put material between these two, I think, for the hinges. So they'll hinge like a trifold. And then I'll show you how I wrap how I wrap the top of this. So maybe we'll do that and just finish that off really quick. So I have my tape out right now, so we'll just do that. So you'll want to print this out 3 times. And then, like I said, this is plexiglass. I'll try to add a link down there in my description box so you can grab the same kind of plexiglass I do. It's very easy. You just score it a couple times and you snap it. It's amazing, you guys. This goes to the front. I did put him on cardboard. This is a little bit thicker. He is on a piece of cardboard or hardboard, and then I wrapped it with thicker foil tape. So you're going to grab your foil tape. Wow, I can't believe we're at 7 minutes already. I have to be careful because I'm having to offload some videos because I take a ton of videos and I'm using my phone directly now for filming. And this is where it's going to use unwanted time here. Okay. I don't have a special way of doing this. This is difficult no matter what. This is even difficult for me to do, and I'm going to try to stay in frame, and I'm sorry that it's a little bit far away. So I just kind of try to find the middle. So I'm going to just pull this over here for me for now so I can, whoops. So I kind of just start here, and then I kind of find the center, and then I kind of just put down gently. One thing I didn't do, well, I think I did do it a little bit, but you want to clean off any fingerprints or oil. And I don't worry about cleaning off all of the plexiglass, just where my hands are at, or my fingertips might have been. Okay, then I'll pull some tape back, then I'll roll this. You don't want to, you just want to get it to where it's stuck on. You don't want to break your tape. This is very thin copper tape. Sorry, my dog is whining. We'll get this done and then finish this up. And then I kind of just cross over it, overlap it. Let's see, sometimes I open it. And I just keep my fingers in the center. I try not to get oil on here. Okay, and then I kind of just come down, press the edges here. And then what I'll do is I just pinch it on each side, back and forth here, or the back and front, sorry. Thora, sorry about that, guys. She's a little whiny today. She wants to be outside. I don't blame her. It's very nice out there. Most of the time I get pretty lucky with my tape. And even if it's a little bit rigidy, that's okay because that's the look I'm okay with. This is grungy. And then I'll just take my soft cloth and then I'll just come over and press everything down with that. And then I'll do the back as well. And I will probably seal this. I'm not sure because what I'm going to do yet, because you can scratch this off still. So I might just seal it some more with a decoupage. I'm not sure yet. Something that will give it a little bit of more protection. I am going to glue them down. I haven't quite figured that out yet. So anyway, so this one looks pretty good. And we got off a little bit down here, but I think that was because this tape got a little bit weird. But for the most part, it looks really good. And there you go. So yeah, we will be back with, I'm not sure yet. This is going to be in parts. But anyway, so we'll be back with the next part. Here I'll be explaining what we'll be using to patina the copper foil. You'll need your rubber gloves, paper towel, and a paintbrush, along with some water, your choice of patinas, ventilation, and a mask. Next, you'll grab your patina of choice. I use Modern Masters blue patina. I also have green. I'm also going to use liver of sulfur. Liver of sulfur does have a smell to it, so like I said, always have ventilation and gloves. You'll only want to use a tiny bit of liver of sulfur, less than a pea size. I'm going to then add water to that to dilute it, as it's very concentrated. You will then grab your paintbrush and your water, and you will see that I am going to dilute the liver of sulfur. I'm explaining here that liver of sulfur is highly concentrated, and once you add it to the copper, it's going to instantly change and tarnish the copper. Here I'm showing the patina and the copper as it is dried. You will then grab your paintbrush and, like I stated before, add water to your silicone mat. I will then drag some of the liver of sulfur into the water to dilute it. After that, I'm going to paint directly onto the copper foil, and as you see here, instant change. It tarnishes instantly, so a little goes a long way. As you see here, I am painting all 4 sides. After I'm done with the 4 top sides, I will go ahead and paint the 4 sides as well. You can heat dry liver of sulfur, so if you're kind of in a hurry, you can go ahead and use your heat gun to force dry liver of sulfur. You can also add warm water. That's what I'm using. I'm using some warm water. That helps activate the liver of sulfur as well. You can use room temperature water, but the warmer the water, the better it works. So that is why you can use a heat gun. The heat will kind of tarnish it a little bit further. After you're done, let that dry or heat dry, and we'll move on to using the copper patina. Next, you'll grab your patina. Here I'm showing you how dry the liver of sulfur is and what it looks like. You don't want to completely make everything black because you are leaving space for the patina. You'll want to pour out a little bit of patina onto your silicone mat. Please make sure you're using a clean, dry brush. Grab your brush, dip it into the patina, and start adding it to the spots where there is copper revealed. I add little pools of patina to these areas. One thing about patina is you cannot force dry it. You will have to set this aside for a couple of hours after you have added little pools to the spots of copper that are not covered with liver of sulfur. I kind of just look at it and add a little bit more if I want to, but as stated, you'll have to set this aside to dry, and I think it takes at least an hour or so. You can come back. When it is a matte finish, it is completely dry. To be on the safe side, give it maybe 2 hours and you should be good to go. Next, you'll want to grab a paper towel and soak up the rest of the solutions that are left over. Please dispose of those properly. Make sure to wipe up your silicone mat thoroughly. Grab your water and clean your paintbrush, set that aside. Next, we'll be working on the tags and attaching those together. Okay, we're back after we just did the tarnishing. So that's what it looks like when it's all dry. And we'll get back to those in a second. But right now we're going to be putting our tag together. I just did the first 2. They're back and front. And all I did is I'm going to do the 3rd one with you, or will be number 1 actually. So it'll be 1, 2, 3. All I did was just to lay them out, and I put my first strip down, and then I left this open so we could go together, or else I would have just put it all together at once. So this is number 2. I will finish off gluing that as well, but I wanted to put the tab on with you guys so you could see where we're going with this. All I did was I put the first hinge and then some cheesecloth in the middle on this would be the second one, just so I think it would close really cool and have some creepiness in there. You can sandwich whatever you want. You can sandwich your little tab loop up here if you wanted to inside there. I guess that's not a good example, but you could sandwich this in here if you wanted to. If you wanted to do something like that, your creepy cloth, your lace, or whatever you wanted to put in there. So we're going to try to finish this off the best we can. Anyways, so I just left a little space. So that's the front. This would be the back. One. I just left enough for it to fold. Like I said, I'm kind of doing this a little bit more complicated. What I would have done was laid all 3 of them out, then put the fabric down, and then whatever you want to sandwich in the middle and go from there. But I wanted to do a little bit of this with you so you can get an understanding of how I made my project. So, yeah. Then I'll also put some in here to glue the rest of this number 2. This glue's getting sticky. Just put a little bit there. This is bulging out. Gosh, this glue, I love it, but it's a pain in the butt. Okay. So I'm just going to leave a little tiny space for the hinge. Thank goodness this glue has a little bit of time to work with. Okay, so anyways, you would do all this before, not do it as complicated as I'm doing it. Anyways, and get that all glued down. And then we're going to finish off putting the front of number 1 on. So there. That looks good. So I'm going to commit to that, and we'll get this number 1 on. You could even, like I said, you could add something to sandwich something through all of them, but I just wanted this one in the middle, and then it kind of overlaps a little bit anyways. All right, looks good. I might have to get a little bit more glue in number 2, but that's okay. Looks like it's pretty good. Sure everything is glued down good. And I'll probably add some little hinges on the outside as well. It's there. Like I think I'll add some just for another layer of texture, put like one little strip maybe here. I don't know if paper or fabric, what I'm going to do yet. So I think that'll look good too, just to add another layer. So yeah, there is where it's going. That's pretty cool. So we're going to work on gathering up what we want to put underneath these. I'm not quite sure yet, so I'm going to play around with that. You can go ahead and use a soft cloth to clean up your plexiglass. So that's one of the story. Then it'll flip over. And it'll have 2 right here. And then 3. Or, actually, well, anyways, we'll figure that out, how I want that exactly. Oops. All right, so that's the hinge part. I'll probably go like this. I think that's what we'll do. It'll be this way. Yeah, perfect. And then when you open it, it'll be the Storm Brewing. All right, so gather up some fabrics or whatever you want to put underneath. I think before I commit to this, see what I mean, guys? I told you. I'm a very textural and layered person, so that's why it takes me a while. I think I'm going to add some sewing. What do you guys think? I think that'll look good with some thread. Just add some more tattered to it. So I'm going to go ahead and do some sewing. You can sew down this way and then back up. You can just sew around. You can sew across. I'm not sure quite where I'm going to sew, but if you want to do that, go ahead and do that next. And then gather up some tattered pieces. I think where I'm going to go next is find some stuff to layer underneath. And then I'll do two and then do the third one with you, so this can be a decent short tutorial instead of a big long one. All right, guys, we're already at 7 minutes, so go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back. All right, we are back. Here is what I did. I said I was going to sew everything up, and then I did complete it with the sewing, so I just went around each tag. So far we have put the tags together by sandwiching them, and if you want to add something in the center before you sandwich it, I did some cheesecloth on the center one. And then I went ahead and sewed all the ways around each tag after I had sandwiched them together and glued them up, and that seemed to work great. We are going to work on the cover. So I went ahead and did these, and all I did was I just put a piece of fabric, this little weird netting stuff, and some thread, and then I hot glued everything together, and then it closes up like this. So it can either stand like this, kind of like portraits on the wall, or like this, and I think it looks really cool. And so we are going to put the cover together. So I gathered up some things so you can kind of see how I layer my project. So anyways, yeah, that's gonna look really neat tucked in this cover here. Excuse me, guys. And then I also am going to put this tag together so you can see me do that, and this little creepy dude. So I just threw some stuff here, and we're just gonna layer that up. I'm not quite sure how I'm gonna layer that. I'll probably sew this down the center since there is a lot. I've got some wire as a layer. And then on this cover, I went ahead and sewed around as well, and then around here and here. And then my closure, just to get some more texture and thread, I went and sewed that in the center. So then we're gonna put all our background, our claws and our creepy stuff behind this. Then we're gonna glue that down. But first, before we do that, and I got this guy glue in here, and then all I did to make this is I printed it out and then I reversed it. Might have to trim up a little bit here, glue the little feet together. I'll do that now. And then I'm gonna probably clip that on the top, on the cover here. Okay. So that's turning out pretty cool. And then this will clip up here somewhere. I think that's where I'm going with this. And then all this stuff layered up, and then that on top. And then we're finished. I hope everybody's enjoying Creep on June. I love Halloween, I just love the creativity of Halloween and the creepiness of it. It's my favorite. One of my favorite holidays. All right, so we'll set this aside and we'll work on this really quick. Actually, I'm going to need this. I'm trying to pay attention so I don't lose audio again. That was horrible. When you plan on having the audio and you're talking and then it disappears on you. I'm using a microphone, so I believe my microphone obviously disconnected. So I'm using my phone full time to record now, so it's a little bit tough. And then I'm mirroring my iPhone to my MacBook Pro so I can see where I'm at. I'm probably still getting out of frame here. Anyways, so this is supposed to represent the crow feather, or the raven, excuse me. The raven. And then I'm going to glue that there. That's gonna look good. And then I found this little tiny itty bitty safety pin. And then I do a lot of my toppers with safety pins and all kinds of odds and ends on top. Usually I have a tutorial, usually I'll just sew across the top of here and then use the tabs to glue it on. But for now, or for today, I think I'm just going to glue them on. I could even staple them on as well too with a tiny attacher. And then this has a little poem on both sides. I'll probably throw a staple in that too as well after I get it onto the take. So don't staple it shut first. All right, so throw some bunch of glue in here on both sides. Bottom here, and that is just an, you see in there, it's just an eye pin. It's a long jeweler's eye pin that I put in there. Make sure that eye pin gets glued down as well. I think that looks cool. Itty bitty tiny holes. Oh, whoops. Go. So then these I'm gonna just tuck in here nicely. Like that. And then this will come over, these will wrap around, tie it off. So now we just need to finish the front. I think that's gonna look really cool, you guys. Okay, now we can work on the front with this. So I just pull a bunch of stuff together and I just do different variations of layering. Just, it should be quick here. And I want to throw some wire in there too. I think that's creepy. I wanted to have some of this in there. I don't have a long enough piece though. But what I could do Okay, I will be right back. I'm going to go ahead and sew this, and then we will attach it all together and put it together. Be right back. And we're back. So sorry for the voiceover, but here I'm showing everything that I sewed together. I did add wire. I do add wire. This is about a 30 gauge wire to my layers. I have never had a problem sewing that together. If you do not feel comfortable sewing wire down through your machine, then you can go ahead and add it afterwards and then just put a couple stitches to attach the wire. I'm next going to glue down everything with a hot glue gun. So make sure your hot glue gun is ready to go so we can start the process of layering our tag. Here I'm using some old tape, and this is a tip that I started doing with my tape. I take the tape and I just grab my little scrubby thing here. I forgot what it's called, your little Tim Holtz blender tool, and I just grab some ink. This is the kind of ink that I use, and I just put it on the roll of the tape. I found this just quick and easy. I love how everybody uses tape and then they store it away and make all their tape, but I did that once and then I couldn't find it. So here I'm just adding the ink with the ink applicator onto the tape. This is some old tape that I have, and this is how I do it. And then I'll go ahead and just use it right off the roll. Again, I will stain as needed, and yeah, it's easy for me to do. And then here I'm just cutting it off the roll and then using it on my project. This is just a fun tip for those who don't have time, or you can't find your paper full of tape, or your wax paper full of tape. Anyways, I'm going to add this tape to where those little marks are on the tag, the little grungy spots there. I thought that's where they would fit perfectly for this project, so I'll go ahead and add those to all the spots that have that little grungy mark on this tag. Next, you'll grab your layered tattered fabric, and we're going to glue that down in a moment. And you'll also grab your creepy guy. How I fixed that on the back is I just affixed that really cool black fabric on the back. I attached a tab first and then those two black pieces. And then you'll go ahead and grab your glue gun next, and we're going to glue everything down in one moment. I'm just checking to make sure everything is sticking out correctly that I want to see on the sides. I'm pulling out the wire and some of the threads. I did add some threads to this as well, but layers are limitless. You can be really creative. I usually go for different kind of textures and opacities when I'm looking to layer. And there is Mr. Harry. This is my Harry glue gun. He kind of got hairy over the weekend. I went to a retreat with some really fun ladies for a week-long retreat, and I was gifted some really cool buffalo hair from Eve, so thank you, Eve. And my glue gun kind of got mixed up with that, so my glue gun is extra hairy. Anyways, so glue down your fabric pieces. Make sure that's glued on really tight. And this is where I'm explaining my hairy glue gun. I think it's silly. It's one of my favorite glue guns. I've mentioned that before. It's a Surebonder. If you do not have one, go get one. They're amazing. I got mine at Hobby Lobby 8 years ago, and it's still working as good as new. Then you take the creepy guy, and we'll glue him on there as well. I will glue him with hot glue gun as well. Grab your glue gun. Make sure you add enough glue. We want this to stick on fairly well and not ever pop off. So I put a good amount of hot glue onto the back of our creepy guy, and sorry for the glare, you guys. And I will take a soft cloth in a moment to push down, as plexiglass scratches easily. So handle with care. If you choose to use plexiglass, you could also use other part. You could use transparency film or packaging film or something different than plexiglass. You don't always have to use plexiglass. I just love to use all kinds of products. You can also use tape around the corners, or you could use silver tape and cut that down as well. You can get that in the plumbing aisle of your hardware store. But here I'm just checking it out and admiring how cool it looks with all the layers. Here's a close-up of all the layers going on around the frame of the creepy guy. And then I'm going to add the raven. At first I wanted it on top, but then I felt that it was too high up there, so in a moment we'll be putting it nestled in between the layers of the fabric that I created. I think the raven is awesome. I have another project that I'm working on as a DT for Tracie, and I can't wait to finish that. But I just nestled that in there in the back between the frame and all the fabric. And I think that looks really good. And then in a moment, we'll just be putting everything together and admiring the finished project. I hope you guys are enjoying this project. Again, if you guys have any comments or any confusion, please put that below and I will try to answer them to the best of my knowledge. Here I decided to add some more tape on the back, so we'll go ahead and do that, and then we'll finish up this project. Okay, we're finally done with our project. Here I'm just going to do one final wipe on all the plexiglass to make sure all the smudges and oils from my fingers are gone, or any kind of product that may have gotten on the plexiglass before I wrap it all up into the tag. Then you're going to put it in the tag there, and then I'm going to fold over the other tags, and then I'm going to add the ribbon around that and tie it up in a bow. And then we will turn it around and admire the finished product. I really enjoyed this project. I didn't know for exactly where I was going with it, but once I thought about the paintings and the storm, or how the storm had a clear sky and then eventually came into a thunderstorm, I just went with it. So here it is. Again, sorry for the glare, but this is the final project. I did use resin on the creepy guy. I didn't mention that. I kind of wrote it in a text on previous video, but I used a resin on the creepy guy. I printed him out, used the resin on him, and then scraped the resin back, and then cured it with the UV light. And then I put the plexiglass on top of that, and then the silver or the copper tape and the patina after that. Anyways, I hope you really enjoyed this project. Please tag me if you give this project a go, or your take on day 8. This was a really fun project. Thank you so much, Tracie, for having me on your design team and allowing me to be a part of Creep on June 2025. And that's hashtag Creep on June 2025. So if you do join in, please put the hashtag so we can see your project as well. Please, if you do not have the kit yet, go ahead and get the kit. I'll leave all the links below to the calendar. There's a calendar to all of the makers for this month. You just click on the calendar number and it'll take you directly to their YouTube channel and you can see what they make. Anyways, happy Creep on June, and we'll talk to you again soon. Look out for the next project that I have coming for Creep on June, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.